Hi there, my name is Roy, and I know absolutely nothing about Go. But still, I'm going to write a complex application in just 30 minutes. Let's get started. Now you might be thinking, how is he gonna go from 0 to pro in just 30 minutes? Well, the trick is, I will not know anything more about Go in 30 minutes than I do right now. Yes, we're gonna be vibe coding today. What vibe coding is basically we let the AI do all of the hard, technical, deep thinking work, and we're just going to think about the features, what we actually want to build. So let's get started. So before we can actually get into the vibe and start vibe coding, we need to actually know what we want to build. Since I didn't know anything about Go before, I just figured I'd just ask ChatGPT what it thinks we should build. And ChatGPT came up with a simple tool, a CLI-based tool, so in the command prompt, that monitors a directory for file changes and logs all the events. So if we change one file, we move it from one directory to the other. This application should tell us that that move happened. Awesome. Now we can get started with vibe coding. So the first thing you need is to install the Cursor IDE. I've already installed it here because I've used it quite a lot in the past for Python projects and other things. You can go to Google, simply type in Cursor. It should be the first link that you see there. So you can click on the cursor.com link. You can follow the instructions here to download it for your machine. And the nice thing about Cursor is that it has a 2-week free trial. So you can install it, sign up, and you get 2 weeks for absolutely free. You get 2,000 completions as well, so you can basically follow along with this whole video without any cost. If you've installed it, open it up. I've already done that. You should see something like this, and it asks you to open a project. So I'm going to select here a folder that I already created, called Vibe Coding. And I would recommend you to create an empty folder somewhere on your laptop and select it here. Now, this chat window is very important. That's where we're going to be typing all of our prompts to the AI. If you don't see it, you can type Command-Shift-I. That basically hides and shows this window. Now, a few things to notice here. There's a mode here. I would keep it on agent. Agent basically is kind of the smart option. It figures out what you want to do. You don't really have to tell it if it should just edit code, if it should just answer a question. It usually does a very good job at that. Now, this is probably configured like this for you. It's by default on auto select, which means is that every prompt you send will be sent to an LLM that Cursor chooses for you. Now, this doesn't always work well. Sometimes I notice that it sends the prompts to a little bit weaker LLM, maybe a bit cheaper large language model. So if you click on this, you can select here the exact large language model that you want to use. Now, I really recommend Claude 3.7 Sonnet. It works very well. It's one of the smartest models out there right now. If you have an extremely difficult question or a complex project you want to do, you can try the max version, but I think that's not available in the free trial, and it also is actually not available for my pro subscription as well. For now, I will choose Claude 3.7 Sonnet. Since I've used it a lot, it seems to work very well. First thing we're going to do is describe the first feature that we want. So I'm going to type create a Go application that monitors a single folder for files that are created, moved, renamed, deleted, etc. I press enter. Now I have to wait a little bit. So you can see it does quite a few things. First of all, it outputs some text that you can read. It also shows some actions, some tools that it used. In this case, it tried to figure out if there's already an existing project here or not. Let's see, there's 0 items here, so it figures it out that it just needs to create an application from scratch. I'm just gonna press run. So sometimes it asks you for permission to execute something. Usually what I do is just press run, accept, those kinds of things. Because I don't want to think too much, right? That's the whole point. Got an error. The good thing is that the AI also sees most of the errors. So it actually understood, okay, I see that Go isn't installed on your system, which makes sense. I've never used it. It's doing a bunch of things. It's creating a bunch of files. Now, I'm very happy I don't have to dive into this because it would take me quite a bit of time to understand this. There's a README file. Don't have to do that anymore. Okay. Here's what I've built. A monitor package, a main application that sets up and uses the monitor. Sure. I'll just ask it, how can I run it? Install Go. Download from golang.org. Okay, so sometimes you do need to do some things manually. Luckily, it can describe you in detail what you should do. I think this is one of the things it just isn't able to do with the command line. So I'm just going to follow these instructions. Download. So I've installed Go, I think. I'm going to go back to cursor. I'm going to tell it that I installed it. All right, it did something. So I think this has something to do with the path not being refreshed because it executed in the same terminal. I don't know for sure, but it figured a way around it, so sure. It's running right now. Starting directory monitor for current directory, watching for file events. All right, sure. It says now let's test it by creating a new file. Let's do that. Hey, this showed up. Okay, let's try another thing. Now, it figured out something changed, right, in the current directory. But I actually want to know a bit more than that. I want to know which file changed, not only which directory. So let's ask it to add that. So while it's running, you can also just type a command and kind of stop it right there. What sometimes happens is it just keeps going and going and going, even though it already fixed or did the thing that you wanted to do. So in that case, you just press stop, you type it again, and you'll be a bit more specific about what you want it to do and what you don't want it to do. Okay, so we killed the process. So now it's running here. So I think this will just keep the AI also waiting for this to finish. That's not gonna happen. I'll ask it to actually run it again in this separate terminal. All right, so it did something. So we see a bit more than just a dot. We actually see that files created / modified. This new test file.txt. And if we see what did we do, so we actually added some text to this file, which is great. So this is exactly what I wanted to see. Let's see if it also works if we do it manually. We have here a test file. So let's save this. All right. This is interesting. So it thinks that it created it and then deleted it. Once again, created it, deleted it. So that seems to be a bug here. So let's ask the AI to fix that as well. So we've seen some things. Modified worked, created worked. Now it's going to delete the file. That works. Nice, nice. Now let's try it again. manually. Modified, great. So it actually modified the file. It detects when we delete the file, it detects when we create a brand new file. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. All right, so we did it. We've got a working product in Go. I still know nothing about Go, which is maybe not that good of a thing, but I'm happy that we could do it. So thank you, AI. But there are a few limitations and a few disadvantages, of course. And the first thing I noticed was that if you give it a prompt, it sometimes doesn't fully understand what you want to accomplish. So one tip for you guys is to really be specific in what you write. If you have a feature in mind, just think through it, be very specific in what you write down. That will really help the AI stick to your feature and make sure it doesn't invent all kinds of other things and doesn't add all kinds of extra features that you didn't mention. Now, the second thing is, if you actually want to sell this product or build upon it with a large team, there are some things you have to take into consideration. One of them is security. You want to make sure that hackers cannot get into this. Hackers cannot see things on your file system. So the problem is AI doesn't really think about that. It just thinks about the features you want to see. But that could be an issue. And the other thing is that the code might not be as maintainable as you want. So AI tries its best to write code that looks good, that's maintainable, but it doesn't always do the best job. It sometimes writes some duplicated code in different places. It sometimes forgets that it actually created some files. So you have to be a little bit careful with that as well. Now, to finish off this video, a few things that vibe coding is really useful for. The first thing I would say is that it's amazing if you just want to develop a small project that you and a few friends will use. You can do it very quickly. You just type in what you want it to do, and it can create a small app in just literally sometimes like 5 to 10 minutes. Now, vibe coding is also amazing at writing relatively simple scripts in a language that you're already familiar with. So I've personally used it as a data engineer to automate some of my tasks using Python. Now, the past 5 years I've done that manually mostly, but the last year I've started to use vibe coding more and more. Why? Well, writing these scripts from scratch takes me like a week or a few weeks to do. I know how to do it, it's just that, there's still some technical complexities, some things you have to do. You still have to actually type the code. It can take quite a long time. And vibe coding just makes it way easier. You can let the AI write all your boilerplate code for you, and you can make sure that you can focus on the features. And when you actually know the language, you can review it also. So you can look at the security flaws, you can look at the code structure and actually correct it when you think it's doing a strange thing. So that was the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you use vibe coding for. See you later.